welcome everybody to New York City Week, episode 3. This is it. We're getting to an end, unfortunately, but
One
that's
more
it.
to go.
Yes, yes. And here I am today. My name's Felipe, and I'm joined by the Princess Leia of teaching, Dani. How are you?
Look, she's right here.
Yes, that's
I'm
exactly it.
good.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
good. How are you?
I'm okay, too. Thank you.
Cool.
And yes, for this third episode, Danny, we're going to talk about the questions that students asked us during our classes last week. I would say the
Hmm.
2 past weeks.
Yeah.
We asked students to ask us questions about New York City. As I
Hmm.
mentioned in the video before, I have already visited New York City for 4 times. Danny has visited 3 times, but one of
Yeah.
them for a
I
year, right?
lived
It's a
there. Yeah.
long visit. Oh,
Hmm.
that's nice. So yeah, we know our way around the city. We know a little bit about it. I wouldn't say a little
Yeah.
bit. We know a
Hmm.
bunch about it. That's nice. So
Hmm.
um, let's jump right into the questions here that we have. I think the first one is the most interesting one, Danny. Talison asked us, "Have you ever seen any famous person in New York City?"
God,
Hmm.
we're gonna start with the hard one. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, we have seen quite a few,
yep.
but we are going to talk about one experience that we had. If you listen to the last podcast, which was about places that we like, the first time Faye and I went together to New York City, we were
Hmm.
crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, and it was super cool. Yeah, it's a cool ride, right?
Hmm.
And then I was there, oh, I'm here in New
All
York. Oh, it's
daydreaming,
so
yes.
cool. Yeah. And then I just hear Philip saying, wow, that person that just passed us, I think that the person is famous.
Yeah,
I
it's a
was like,
movie
Felipe, shut
director.
up.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, Felipe, shut up. Let's just take photos. And then, can you continue the story, please?
Sure. So I remember looking at him, and I recognized him, but I wasn't quite sure who he was, like his name or
Mm-hmm.
anything, because I like movies, but I'm not that big of a fan,
Mm-hmm.
especially about movie directors. But okay, some days passed. I think 2 or 3 days passed, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we were at the airport when we were about to return to São Paulo,
Yeah.
and I saw his face on a magazine, and I pointed to Danny and said, like, "Oh, this is the guy that I saw at Brooklyn Bridge," and it was Woody Allen and someone I don't know who she is. It was a woman with him, but yes, it was Woody Allen. So I
It
saw
was
him.
Woody freaking Allen. Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
not a huge fan of him anymore
Hmm.
because of reasons,
Hmm.
but he's a great director. I have
Sure.
to say, he's a
Hmm.
great director. I adore Midnight in Paris,
Yeah.
one of my favorite movies,
Hmm.
and he just like passed me,
Exactly.
and I
Like
didn't see him.
you share the same oxygen. Let's say it.
Yeah, for
So
like half a second, but
yeah,
okay,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
That
And
was that was bad.
someone else that we saw that was like the same, basically the same lines of this idea, this experience. Sorry, it was Shane from Walking Dead, right? John Bertal,
Yeah,
Bertal, that's his name,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah. That's it.
As we
Oh
were,
yeah, that was so cool. We saw
and
him.
I think he still have nightmares with my face,
It's true.
but I don't know if he would enjoy reminding, uh, I don't know, my image, my face passing through his mind or anything, because we were at the planetarium and we had just seen an event, and it's not
Show,
an event, it's a
planetarium
show.
show.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And we were walking outside, and Danny saw a NASA shirt, and she, just like aimed towards it and headed directly to the
Yeah,
to the shirt.
of course.
And as I was walking out, I heard this very strong voice, deep voice. And as I looked to my right side, he was there. And I don't know if I got scared or surprised, I don't know, but he got scared. That's what I'm sure of. And and later on, like then I went to Danny and I said like, oh, it's the guy from The Walking Dead. And I was too embarrassed to go near him again. Like, no, probably it's better, let's keep
Better
our
not.
distance. Yes.
Better not. Yeah,
So
yeah,
uh
yeah.
it was a scary experience for him. It was a good experience for me, but that was cool. Danny, who
Yeah.
else? Do you remember anyone else?
I've seen. I've crossed path with Jake Gyllenhaal.
The
Come
best one.
on, yeah. But it was quick.
Mm-hmm.
Had a very quick interaction with him, but it was really quick.
Yeah.
We saw Taylor. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Schilling from Orange is the New
Yeah,
Black.
exactly. I was just searching now. What's her name
So
on Orange is the New Black? She's Piper.
Piper, yeah, we saw
Yeah.
Piper from Orange is the New
Yes,
Black.
and she was
She
right
just
beside
passed
you,
in
right?
front. Yeah, and then she passed in front of us, and then she entered on an Uber, and
Mm-hmm.
we're like,
Oh
she's
my God.
so gorgeous. I want to be
Exactly.
her when I grow up. Super
Yeah.
gorgeous, super
Ex-
blonde. She was
mm,
super.
yeah, I remember
And
that.
I think that was it. I think my list of famous people that I've known.
Oh no, come on. Come on. There's the one. H&M store.
Oh yeah! Oh my God, the Harry Potter Neville. Oh yeah, I
Yes.
don't know his name.
Yep,
I don't know
me
his real name, but he's gonna be Neville Longbottom
neither.
forever. I'm
Exactly.
told I am a huge a Potterhead,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw him. Felipe was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, isn't that dude from Harry Potter?" I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yeah."
His name in real life is Matthew Lewis, thanks to Google.
Thank
So,
you, Google.
so
But he's
Matthew
Neville. He's
Lewis.
gonna be
Yeah,
Neville forever.
exactly. And
Like Daniel Radcliffe is gonna be Harry Potter forever.
exactly.
Deal.
And
But
again, I think we scared a famous person
yeah,
as he
because I
walked
was so
out.
excited. Yeah, and then he started looking at us like, "Okay, let's get the hell out of here." And
Yes.
then they left the store. He
Yeah.
and his girlfriend. He was
I
with
think it was, yeah.
a lady next to
Mm-hmm.
him. And they left the store, and we're like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna take a photo." But it
Oops.
was fine. I saw
Yeah,
him. It's fine.
exactly. Nice. Danny, what is the
Yeah.
next question that you think is
Next
interesting?
question. I'm gonna go with what Barbara said.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara asked, "What are some places to buy cheap things?"
Mm.
Any ideas, Faye?
Yeah, I would suggest the gift shops. I forgot the name of the souvenir shops. They're
Mm-hmm.
random names, but they're super cheap and you can find them anywhere. Times Square, there's a gigantic one next to Starbucks,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you can buy like souvenirs, like this kind of stuff. Like this is a World Trade Center souvenir.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Mm-hmm.
a New York City snow globe, so you can buy this kind of things. And this one, $3. The New York City, the World Trade Center, I don't know how much it was, but I
Mm-hmm.
think $5. So it's quite
Mm-hmm.
cheap to buy souvenirs, and you can find like more expensive stuff. Like you can buy
Mm-hmm.
shirts, you can buy baseball stuff. I don't know, like
Jerseys,
the
yeah.
bat, the jerseys, the
Mm-hmm.
glove, I guess
Yeah.
called.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy many things, and they are all normally cheap, nothing too expensive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Anywhere else, Danny? Do you think of?
Yeah.
Like sometimes on the
Yeah. If
street you
if
can
I
find some stuff,
were
right?
Yeah, but if you want to buy souvenirs from New York, I would advise you to go to the gift shops on the
Mm-hmm.
street.
Yep.
Because sometimes if you visit a place like a museum or a monument or something, they have their own gift shop
Mm-hmm.
and they sell New York stuff in there, but it's quite expensive.
Yeah. Sure.
So if I could advise, if I were you all, I would
Mm-hmm.
save the money and go to the street shops. It's
Sure.
much better.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
that's it.
Nice. And then
What
Isla
about
asked
you?
us, and
Mm-hmm.
I will connect Island's question with Camila's question, but Camila will come a bit later down the line as we continue talking about
Yeah.
Iceland's question. Iceland asked
Mm-hmm.
us, how much is the public transportation?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how much it is? Like
I
the.
have $2. Well, we're talking about the subway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In New York, you have possibility of taking the subway or taking the bus, and of course the cab and everything else, and
Mm-hmm.
Uber now. But we're gonna focus on subway because that's what Faye and I rode most on.
Mm-hmm.
And Faye, we bought a tourist card, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
could ride unlimitedly for what
7 days, 5 days,
7 days,
5 or
right?
7 days. Yeah.
And we paid what, 30
$30.
$35.
Yeah, the last time that I went was 32 because I have the
30.
price on the card. It's on my wallet, but I still have the price on the
Okay.
card. I think 3 days, $12, and 5 days, $30, something like
Yeah,
this.
and
Or
then
two
you
days,
can
I don't
go
remember.
back and forth
As
everywhere
much
you
as you
want to
want.
go.
Yeah.
and it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
best idea. There are some cars that also give you the permission to enter on buses, so you can also take the bus with the
Mm-hmm.
same card.
Yep,
But
sure.
Faye and I, we never took the bus. Did we, Faye? I don't
Nope,
remember. I
never,
don't think so,
never.
right?
I
So we
mean,
never
only
took the bus
airport,
there.
like,
Yeah,
but
but then this is a different company, is a
yeah,
different
yeah, it's not
idea.
a
But the
local bus.
public transportation,
Mm-hmm.
the subway is the best way to go. It takes you to the best
Exactly.
places to visit, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it. It's not
That's it.
that expensive.
Now,
Yeah.
connecting with this topic, Camila asked us, is New York City dirty?
The answer is yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a big city.
Hmm.
Come on,
But
lots of tourists
I
there, and
wouldn't say
it's
like it's not visually dirty. Like how could I explain this? Like you don't see at least I don't remember seeing like graffitis on walls and people littering all
yeah.
over the place. Like it's dirty
Hmm.
because it's a big city, and also it's 24
Hmm.
7 nonstop. Everything's open all the time, pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
Some
Especially the
subway
subway.
stations are smelly.
Yes,
Yeah, some of
hot.
them are really smelly. They're hot. You may see some rats on the
Yes,
tracks, and
exactly.
that's quite normal because it's a
Yes.
big city once again.
Exactly.
And but I think the dirtiest that New York can get is during the snow.
Oh yeah.
It's when you have snow, and because they shovel the snow out from the street into towards the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
and when they're shoveling it, it gets dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So and with bunch of
Mm-hmm.
dirty things. So it smells bad because it starts melting. It's just messy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's messy to say the least.
It is a
Not a good
beautiful view,
experience.
like especially like Central
Mm-hmm.
Park during the snow and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
just be glad that like when you take pictures, you don't feel the smell. So that's it. So enjoy
That's
the
it.
pictures later and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
that's it.
there is one place that just came to my mind. When you are off Fifth Avenue and you are about to enter Central Park, you have the Apple Store, then you have
Sure.
the Plaza Hotel, which
Plaza.
is a
Mm-hmm.
huge construction. And then there are some horses in which
Mm.
they take people to take a tour on Central
Central Park.
Park with horses and carriages. That bit might be the one of the most expensive places in New York City,
Sure.
but it smells terrible. It's terrible because
Exactly.
the horses are doing their necessities there,
Mm-hmm.
and you have people littering, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's not a
Birds.
good place
Lots of
to be.
birds.
Yeah, lots of birds and
Yeah,
pigeons
sure.
and everything. So it's
Sure.
not a advisable
That's
place
good.
to go.
So going along again with this one, since you say like, oh,
Hmm.
it's beautiful, it's da-da-da, but it's smelly and stuff. Rafa da Silva asked us. Rafa Silva, sorry, da Silva.
Hmm.
I never know it's Rafa da Silva or Rafa Silva. You have Rafa and you have Silva, so that's it. I love you, man. By the way, I'm just kidding. He asked us, would you like to live there in the future? Live in New York City?
No, I wouldn't live in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
I would live maybe on the other boroughs or in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
but not in Manhattan.
Yeah.
To start off, it's extremely expensive to live there.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna pay like a lot of money for a small space, and then you can have with the same amount of money you can cross the river and live in a good place. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't live there. There is the immigration issue, which they are not really fond
Very
of
open.
immigrants.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a bit tricky.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think New York for me is magical because I can go and come back and then go again and come back
Mm-hmm.
as I
Sure.
please. And if I lived there for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't live in Manhattan. I lived across the river, so but it was really close, and I loved it because I didn't live in Manhattan. So I remember I didn't go there every day, but I could go anytime I wanted,
Sure.
and I used to go during the weekends, and I loved it. So I
Mm.
never lost the magic of it. But I think if I
Ex-
lived in the island, I don't know,
Yeah, I
it
think,
wouldn't be the same thing, right?
and it would be such a stressful lifestyle, I guess, because again, we're tourists, we enjoy, we're in and out in a week basically.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I don't imagine like, because the most common sound in New York City, the most common sounds are
Mhm.
sirens and
Car hunts.
car honks. Yes. So like for a week, okay, but can you imagine like you wake up and the first thing you listen are like ambulance
Every
sirens
day.
every day, every
Mhm.
single minute. Not every single minute, but quite often.
Every
And
time.
yes, it will be stressful. So I
Yeah.
I wouldn't live there in Manhattan. Probably would go like Long Island or Brooklyn,
Staten Island.
Staten Island, New Jersey. So this place is around.
Yeah.
So when you feel like it, you go and visit.
Mhm.
But again,
Mhm.
in and out in a couple of days, stuff like
Mhm.
this.
Faith. On
Yes.
the same note that we're talking about, Mari, my
Mm-hmm.
dear Mari, she
Mm-hmm.
asked, "What are the most famous neighborhoods that we can visit?" So we talked about a few, but would you like to
Yeah,
tell us more?
neighborhoods. Uh, we're not talking about boroughs, right? We're talking about neighborhoods. Like for example,
No, we're talking about boroughs because it's the same idea,
okay,
right?
okay. So I would say, of course, Manhattan, the magical place. But if I were
Mm-hmm.
to suggest one place in Manhattan, like you can visit just one place in Manhattan, go to Lower Manhattan. That's the beautiful
Ooh.
part for me. I don't enjoy Times
Uh-huh.
Square. I mean, I enjoy, but not as much. Like if you go to Lower Manhattan, you have the Battery Park, you have the World Trade Center, you have Wall Street, Brooklyn Bridge,
Mm-hmm.
the ferry. It's more. There are some areas that are more residential, so you can actually see how people live. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would say. I
Yeah,
would
me
say
too.
the only boroughs that I visited, Staten Island, for just a short while. I think we spent what, like an hour there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brooklyn, beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
relaxing. Like
Nice.
it's quite the opposite of Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan's, fast, busy,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, many tourists and stuff. And Brooklyn's quite the
Mm-hmm.
opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I would say Brooklyn and Lower Manhattan. If I were just separating
Yeah.
Manhattan into a smaller piece, like Lower,
Mm-hmm.
Midtown, and Upper. So
Yeah. I would go
would
along
you?
with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I especially like the upper. So you see, you go for the lower, I go for the upper.
Yeah.
Upper east or west side, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the same reason,
Mm-hmm.
not so touristic, and there are very cool places to visit. I love around Columbia University. There are
Mm-hmm.
nice
That's
places
true.
to go, nice little coffee shops to go, little squares.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like you go. I go to the upper side, and Fed goes to the lower side.
Yeah. And nobody goes to Midtown. Midtown is
Yeah,
too
yeah.
too busy for me.
No, yeah. I'm
Not
too cool
really.
for Midtown.
Exactly, exactly. Um,
Very
one more
cool.
thing that Louise asked, very interesting question about restaurants. What are the best restaurants you visited in New York City? Not only visited, but ate.
Each of it,
Uh,
eight in New York City.
yes,
I would say the late and that broke our hearts. What's the name? The Greek platter?
the Greek platter. Yes, exactly. They closed
Oh, it was
down.
so good. It
Yeah.
was this food joint near the hotel that we used to stay, and they
Mm-hmm.
used to sell Greek food. It was so delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Exactly.
so good. It was like what, $14, and it was this
Even
huge
cheaper,
plate.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a huge plate. At that time, I used to eat meat. I don't now, but then they had chicken with lots of salad, and Faye and I we could easily share, and it was so
Exactly.
delicious,
And it was
so
great.
delicious.
Yes. Yeah.
So street
So.
food is generally good in New York. Of course, you have to
Mm-hmm.
pick the place, but
Mm-hmm.
it's generally
Yeah.
good.
Exactly. My favorite one, pizza. New York
Ooh, it's
pizza is the best pizza
bajo.
for me. Yes, Bajo. It's right on the corner from the hotel that we stay, Pennsylvania
Mm-hmm,
Hotel,
mm-hmm,
and it's the combo. It's $10 and you get two slices in a a gigantic soda cup. Cup no.
mm-hmm,
Anyways, it's
mm-hmm.
soda, and it's so good. I love the
Yeah.
pizza because it is the kind of pizza that you can eat and walk around. Like it's not a heavy thing to digest, so
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you can easily
It's really
get
good.
like eat while
Mm-hmm.
you walk around the city, and it is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. When I went by
Yeah.
myself in 2018, I spent 3 days in New York City, and I ate pizza those 3 days. Don't tell mom, but yes, I ate three pizza. I ate it's bajo like all 3 days, and even when I visited
So
with
cool.
mom and my girlfriend and stuff, we basically every day for lunch we would get pizza because it's fast, easy to digest, and you don't spend
Mm-hmm.
much. So during
Yeah.
dinner time, okay, like we would pick a more elegant place to go, like Hard Rock or any other place, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for lunch, pizza, so good,
It's a good,
delicious.
yeah. And I would, if I could advise again,
Hmm.
um, don't go for the fast food. Like
Yeah.
maybe like go to Wendy's, which is different. We
Hmm.
don't have here,
And
or go
Arby's.
for Arby's.
Yeah.
Arby's is really good.
Hmm.
But then like go to McDonald's. You have McDonald's here. Go to Burger King. You have Burger King here.
Hmm.
Try the different things. Walk
Yeah.
around, and if you see a place that you like, enter. Take a look at the menu, and
Hmm.
then eat it.
Enjoy. Yeah. Exactly.
Of course, you have cheap, I mean not so expensive food, which is
Hmm.
delicious, and of course you have the super expensive ones, and then it goes around the amount of money you have.
Sure.
But there are great
Uh,
places too.
exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly.
The food is really good.
And then last question
Yeah.
here. Last question comes from
Mm-hmm.
Everton.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting question because
Mm-hmm.
he was just wondering that even with an advanced or fluent English, we might have some difficulties to deal with traveling abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked for some advice. What advice would you like to have received before traveling abroad? Mm,
Wow, that's a tricky one. What
yeah,
advice I would like to have. I don't know, Fed, do you have anything in mind?
I have one that
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that I needed that, but I think people should really consider when traveling, and then you will understand why. Which is the place that you're traveling to, New York or any other place, is not an extension of Brazil. So the
Ah.
culture is different. The way they deal with stuff is different. So the food is
Mm-hmm.
different. Everything is different. So
Mm-hmm.
you are the stranger person in that place. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to understand that you need to adjust to that
Mm-hmm.
culture, to the way they do stuff. Because if you go to New York, for example, and you want to eat Brazilian food, it'll be difficult to find, expensive, and
Mm-hmm.
it will be like a hassle because it will be so out of the way. So
Yep.
don't be this person. That's my suggestion.
Don't be
Uh,
the person. I like that.
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
understand that
And
it's not an
mm-hmm.
extension of Brazil. It doesn't matter where you go. You can go
Exactly.
to like Argentina down here. It's not an extension of Brazil. It's a new
Mm-hmm.
country, new culture, new people, new everything, new
Yeah,
life,
read a
basically.
little before, right? There are so
Exactly.
many blogs, so many books about it. So just
Hmm.
read a little before,
Yeah,
right?
prepare
And I
yourself.
would say, if
Hmm.
I what advice I would like to have received is that when you arrive there and you see the prices, you're gonna go crazy,
Hmm.
because then you see that, for example, a mug here in
Hmm.
Brazil costs like 30 reais. There you see it's $5. Well,
Hmm.
$5 is expensive for us. But
Sure.
then you see $5, your brain understands it's 5 reais.
Hmm.
So you're gonna buy it.
Be careful.
But then you end up buying so many useless things that you can
Hmm.
easily purchase when you get back home.
Hmm. Yeah,
So I would
that's true.
totally say, like, of course, buy stuff. You're traveling, buy
Hmm.
souvenirs, buy whatever you want, but be careful with the prices because they're
Hmm.
tricky.
Sure.
You look and say, "Oh, they're super easy, they're super cheap," but
Hmm.
maybe not. Do you really need it? So
Sure.
anyway, that's
I
what the
agree.
advice I would like to have received, because
Hmm.
when I first got there in 2007, when I lived there, I bought every single CD I wanted. And nowadays, I don't even know where they are. So you
Hmm.
see,
Yep.
was it
Exactly.
worth it?
Yeah.
So
That's
that's
true.
it.
That's true.
Yeah,
And yeah,
super.
I think
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And okay, another suggestion that I learned from you actually, Danny, that
Mm.
during our first trip, like don't buy heavy stuff. It will be really difficult to bring
Mm-mm.
it back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I wanted to buy some books and some art books that I saw, and they were cheap, but they were super heavy, so it would be so difficult to bring back. So thank God I didn't buy, because that first trip I bought like the VR, the PlayStation VR, and that thing was heavy, big,
Maybe.
so
Mm-hmm.
it that thing alone would be difficult to carry back, to put in the luggage and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just be careful with how heavy the things that you're buying
Yeah.
will
Are.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you if you go to the airport and you need to pay extra, most of times you
Mm-hmm.
won't be prepared for paying extra. So that's it. Just be
Yeah.
careful with that.
Yeah. That's
But
it. Faye, can we finish off with two sentences or two questions about entertainment?
sure, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we're gonna join Camila and Rafael Monteiro. M.
No, Rafael Marinho.
Marinho. Oh, Rafa,
Yes,
sorry. So
yeah, I
Rafael
put him.
Marinho and Camila.
Mhm,
Um, they both asked about experiences in New York City.
mhm,
Rafa asked about the NBA experience,
mhm,
and Camila asked about a Broadway experience.
mhm.
So,
And
Faye,
they,
would you like to tell
yeah,
them
and
about NBA experience?
yeah, and they go actually hand in hand, at least from what I
Mm-hmm.
remember, because you wanted
Yeah.
to go to a Broadway show, I wanted to go to the NBA game, and we were about to go to our separate ways, basically.
Yeah.
But the Broadway show sold out, right? It was Phantom of the
Yeah.
Opera.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
both
it was
ended,
so sad.
yeah, we both ended up going to the NBA game, New York Knicks and Orlando Magic. And
Mm-hmm.
how was the experience for you, then? I want to hear from you first.
It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a performance. Of course, I
Mm-hmm.
was paying attention to the game. It's a very cool game. Basketball is really cool, but
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing, like in between the breaks and everything, they
Mm-hmm.
perform. You have the cheerleaders, and it's so cool. And
Mm-hmm.
they're throwing shirts at the public, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not throwing shirts at the public, throwing shirts to the public.
Yes.
So it's such a nice experience. Something
Sure.
that Faye and I we go to sports events. We like it, like especially soccer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing like something that we had ever seen before.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really interesting.
That's true. That's true.
Even if you don't
Bec-
understand
mm-hmm.
the game, like I don't understand basketball that
Mm-hmm.
well, but it's so cool. I loved
Yes,
it.
exactly. Yeah, it's a whole experience. It's not just the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the from the moment
Mm-hmm.
that you step in in an event, in a big experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they pay attention for the second that you put your ticket in the machine and you enter. From that moment on until you leave, you're feeling the NBA experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it is so amazing. Like you go and buy
Mm-hmm.
popcorn and hot dogs, and I don't remember what else we bought there.
Beer.
Beer,
We had
yeah.
a cup of beer, but then we
Oh,
left. I remember I left with the feeling that I was the greatest basketball fan ever. Like, oh
exactly.
my god, I understand so much. I want to buy a
Yes,
jersey. Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
true. That's so true. And
yeah.
and not only that, but the structure of the Madison Square Garden is amazing. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable how they can, build such a great entertainment center, not only for the basketball but
That's
the
it.
whole thing. Like as soon as you get out of the arena, you're in the lobby and there are many things for you to look at and pay attention to. It's so good,
Mm-hmm.
it's great, it's such a great
Yeah,
experience. A little bit
yeah,
expensive. I think it was $90 the tickets
yeah.
each,
It's a bit expensive.
but worth it.
It's okay. And then the Broadway show, answering Camila's question, we've never had a
Hmm.
Broadway experience
Sure.
because we never had the chance. It's an expensive thing. You have to plan, but I would love. I'm a huge fan of musicals,
Hmm.
and I've had an off Broadway experience when I lived there. I saw a play, but it wasn't a Broadway really production.
Hmm.
Never had the opportunity. I was planning, and I'm still planning to go to New York as soon as the pandemic is done. As soon as the
Hmm.
pandemic is over,
Hmm.
uh, I'm gonna go with my husband to New York, and we are planning to watch Hamilton. We are
Hmm.
huge Hamilton fans. We know like all the songs, and we know it's really expensive. We're gonna sit like way up there. We're gonna see little Ant Hamiltons right there on stage. Couldn't care
But
less.
you
I
were
just want
gonna
to
see
have the
it.
experience.
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to have the experience. So we're
Hmm.
planning to do it. And then when we do it, we can have a podcast and I can tell you all about Hamilton.
Sure. Yep. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Will be a great experience, I believe. Because come on,
Yeah.
Hamilton and Broadway, all you need in life. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. So, guys, that's it. These are the questions. Of course, there were some other questions that you guys asked us, but
Mhm.
because of timing, we're not going to answer all of them. But the ones that we didn't answer, We're going to answer in our classes.
Yeah.
Your next class, your questions will be answered, the ones that are not here.
Ooh.
So,
All right.
yep, guys,
Guys,
thank
thank you
you.
so much for participating, right, in class.
Yes.
Or some people sent us via WhatsApp after the class. It was really
Hmm.
good participation. So
Yes,
thank you.
that's it. Thank you very much. So,
Mhm.
guys, for this one, we wrap up then. So, thank you very much for watching and
Thank you.
hope to see you soon. Bye
See
bye.
ya.